Hey everyone, we're here today to talk about something that isn't so much pinball related, but it kind of could be, I think, in the future, and that's a 3D printer. I just picked this up. It's a Creality CR10S printer, I believe, is the full name of this printer. And basically the prices of these printers have dropped so much that, you know, it's something I think people just want to kind of tinker with and maybe just make replaceable parts in the future with them. And that's kind of my mindset, like with pinball and all that. Maybe, you know, once you get good at these 3D programs and stuff like that, parts that kind of go out of print or are obsolete down the road could be made on a 3D printer as everything else is today. So in this video, what we're going to talk about is this 3D printer and kind of show some stuff of how it could be related to pinball, about making parts and downloading parts from the internet and that are already like assembled for you, where you don't even have to go and create them through a 3D program. And you just basically go and you slice the file within the 3D rendering software, and then you print it on your printer. I mean, there's more to it. I've just gotten this printer, so I wouldn't say I'm the most, you know, intellectual person about this printer as of now, or about the 3D programs. I'm far from that, and there's a lot of people out there that are great at them, it seems like. But what we're going to show is kind of how the printer works, how to download a file from the internet, like just a basic file, and print it on this printer just to see how it works. And down the road there might be more files to talk about with this printer of how it actually works, like with 3D rendering software and all that, just to get better at it. Maybe I'll create my own channel down the road with it. But if it relates to pinball, then I probably would include it on my Pinball Supernova channel, just to show again how these items are done or created and rendered, and you know, everything, and how the printer actually works and stuff like that. So it's great. The printer is awesome to watch. It's amazing how these things work. And we're going to talk about like what I did to the printer so far. I updated like a bunch of fans in it to make it run quieter and colder and cooler. Created some legs for it, a tool little bin on the bottom over there. Trying to think what else. The knob on that control unit to the left, stuff like that. So we really want to start learning this hardware and software and get better at it. So stay tuned and watch the rest of the video. Okay, so now what we're going to do first is to download the file of what we are going to print out on this 3D printer. So basically how it goes is that, you know, you go to a website or you go to a file that you want to print, and it basically, that's how it kind of works. So let's go to Pinside first. And there's a person on there, Zen Master. Basically, he created this file for FunHouse, and basically how this works is this is the file of what it looks like after it's 3D printed. And basically then you could download it from this site called Thingiverse. It's a lot of files for free that are on this site for 3D rendering printers. So he actually made this to give out to people because this part is pretty much hard to find. You can't really buy it anymore from Marco or Pinball Life or any of these sites that sell pinball parts. So he created his own. He made it on his own. And he's willing to give it to other people to test it to see how it works out for them, which is awesome. It's awesome that the community is like that, where they're willing to give out, you know, to make this. I'm sure he spent time to have to, you know, detail all this out, you know, and get it to the proper measurements. It's not easy. These programs are not easy to use. So basically he gave this out. Again, you could download it from the URL. I'll have it on my site or on my blog, and also underneath the YouTube video you could see it. I'll have all this link there. It's on Thingiverse. Basically, again, you could download all this. So if I click on Thingiverse, it will bring me to here, and it's the same file, but you could download it. So I'm going to download the file from Thingiverse, and it's going to save it to here on my my computer. So let's double click on that. It's a RAR file. It's under the files, which is the iCrank, which it's called. And in these files, usually there's images, you know, to show, you know, what you're downloading, or, you know, all that stuff 3D rendered like that. So let's go back to the file. Take it out of the RAR file here. So I'm just going to drag it to my desktop here. And let's find it on my desktop. So it's called iCrank, which is right here. So I'm going to double click on that. It's going to open it with a 3D rendering piece of software called Ultimaker Cura, and this is free as well. And what we're going to do is take this file and slice it, I guess they call it, and then we're going to download it to a memory card that goes into the 3D printer and actually create the file 3D rendered. So we could close that out. So here it is in this software called Cura. I'm going to slice it. It's because the preset settings actually aren't that bad. I have this file, again, I'm learning the software on my own and stuff like that, so it's going to take a lot of time, but I have it preset already for my Creality CR10S printer. So the file is right here, so if you grab it, you can kind of look at it, you know, rendered, and, you know, flip it up and down, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. There's not, you know, there's nothing really crazy to look at in this file. I mean, it's not like, it's something like a cool mask or something. It's like a pinball part. But it is cool the way that Zen Master actually created this, and again, thanks to him to make this file. So I'm going to slice it. And this is kind of going to get it rendered and for the printer. I'm going to save it to my removable that I have in my computer, my memory card. So I'm going to hit save because it's write protected, the memory card. So I'm going to enable the memory card to be written to. So let's try to save it again. So it's saving it to the card. So let's go to the card. I might have a couple other files on that card already. Removable K, and right here iCrank G code. So that's what we're going to go try to print on the 3D printer. These are a couple other files. I'll kind of go over those of what I did on the printer already, what I updated, but we're going to be concentrating on the iCrank code. And again, as I get better with this, I'll probably make more videos and show how the 3D printer works better and how the files work. But for now, we're just going to do a quick test of this file and on this 3D printer and see how it starts from like nothing to a finished object at the end, and how we load it into the 3D printer and stuff like that. So stay tuned to that, and we'll take a look at how to actually start using the 3D printer. Okay, so I just wanted to go over a couple more things with this 3D printer and the files and all that stuff of like what's out there for now, and hopefully more things will come out down the road. But, you know, people have downloaded different files for pinball, as we were talking about, for like the Pinball, FunHouse, and Road Show file that we're concentrating on in this program, or this video. So if you kind of look at some of these other files, you know, you see like a Judge Dredd pinball flipper opto curtain. So if we click on that and go to files and open that, like the left side, so basically what the flipper opto, this is the one I believe that goes in the cabinet, that goes by the flipper button that you push, and you kind of see, you know, it's right there. So it's like an L, goes on the left and right side of the opto. It's like the newer style. Like I think, yeah, Monster Bash and all that has it too, but I think it's a different kind of style. Like Twilight Zone might have this. I think it's what those pinball machines have it. But yeah, it's like an L and it goes inside the cabinet. But like you can make these on your own now. Like it's crazy. Like if you really, like, you broke one at night and you needed one, I mean, it does take a while to print. And these 3D printers are not fast by any imagination, but at least you could download it and have it if you need it like the next day. Like, so we have the Revenge from Mars spaceships that somebody created. So, you know, you have your ship there. So again, you know, you buy these from Marco or whatever, and, you know, you're spending like probably 20 bucks on these things. But, you know, you can print them out yourself and paint them and be good to go. So, you know, you could print out the actual dome. I don't know how well that prints out, you know, seeing the light through it and all that stuff. But, you know, so it just gives you an idea of like what's out there or what's coming with 3D printing. So if we go to the saucer and open that up,
you're going to see, you know, the spaceship and Revenge from Mars in 3D render form. And again, you could print this out on your printer. So yeah, so, you know, here you go. You see the different sides of it underneath, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then you slice it, you save it to your card, and you're good to go. So, yeah, it's really cool, the technology. And it's really cool, again, that these people are making these mods and willing to give it out to the public. You know, here's the green mod that was on the Pinside. I bought a couple from the creator of this. It's a great mod. It's like it goes over the two lights that are over the bookcase in Adam's Family. It's like a book. I don't think the decals and stuff are on here, but at least it's the book itself. But, you know, that's the form of the book, of that mod. So, I don't know if, you know, that's the mod. And again, I know he was selling that on Pinside. So you got Uncle Fester's chair, another Adam's Family mod. You know, they came with the game. So if you need to print out another chair, you can print it out. Let's see what else is here. Return link, ball return link, pinball drop target. I don't know how well those hold up over time, but you give it a shot. You know, and the Circus Voltaire, you know, the ringmaster, you know, that kind of taunts you through the game. So then you could print that out. So that's what you could do, and hopefully more people make more parts for these games. And you know, if you get good at it, maybe you could make some parts. So that's the future of 3D rendering.
With this 3D printer, what you need to do is you need to insert the SD card first into the system before you turn it on. I did that. So what we need to do now is preheat the bed and the nozzle before we print out this actual file. So we go to Control, I believe it is, Temperature. We go to Nozzle, and I'm going to bring it down to like 205, something like that. Nozzle, or I'm sorry, bed is at 60. It's already preset for that, so that's good. So we're going to let the machine get to those temperatures right now before we start the print, because the bed needs to be warmed up enough for the plastic to stick to it, so it doesn't move while it's printing as it goes along. Some people spray the bed with hairspray. Some people use like masking tape, or they use a glue stick to keep the object down on the bed. I've been pretty lucky, and I don't really have to use anything on this glass table. I printed a bunch of things out, and really, knock on wood, have not had many things slip on me. So I'm gonna keep going that way and see what happens, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this object here will work. But as this is warming up, there's like readouts on here too. I'll zoom in later so we can get a better look at the display in the printer itself. But again, the nozzle right now is at 203. It needs to get to about 205, 206. The bed is at 55, which is, this is the bed. And I have it preset for 60 degrees. So again, we put our file, we put our card in there, and the file that we're printing, again, it's the FunHouse Road Show, like link, kind of. And what it does is it links like the eyes together, I believe, so they can move like left and right and stuff like that. And the part's like nearly impossible to find, so again, it's very nice that these people are making these parts for free so we could print them out and, you know, use them on our games. Hopefully they hold up. You know, that's kind of something I'm curious on with these type of printers, and the filament that you use within the printer. So see how durable it is. So this is going to be blue. I'm going to print out in blue because that's what I have loaded into the machine up here within the machine. So again, we're ready to go. We're ready to print. So we're going to go click on this, go to print from SD, which is at the bottom here. So we're going to go right here where it says iCrank. Click on that, and that's going to get the file. It says bed heating, and again, now the object is going to start to print within the bed over here, and the nozzle that's going to keep going back and forth to print this file out. So I'm going to do like a speed time frame on the beginning and ending of this object and see how it prints out. So stay tuned, and then again I'll go over the printer of what I have in mind, and then kind of go over maybe a couple other things, and that'll be it. So stay tuned. So as you can see with the printer, how it's starting out, it lays like a foundation down that the object gets printed on top of. And I guess that's something you set up within your 3D file when you make these objects. And it gives it just something more to grab onto the glass tray before the object starts printing. So it's very light right now. It's very hard to see this piece of what it's starting to print. But as this file goes on, you're going to see the object build up and be finished with the completed piece. Okay, so now that file is printed, the iLink or whatever you want to call it for FunHouse and Road Show. So basically, we did the blue one. This is the one that came off the printer before. So if you look at it, I mean, it's really cool. Like, you know, how it prints. Durability, I hope it holds up. You know, I don't see why it wouldn't. And Zen Master actually put like eyelids or something in here, like brass ones or something, to give it more strength. And, you know, here it's a little messed up, but it's still pretty strong. I mean, if you bend it, it's not going to break. You know, it's pretty thick. The walls, you know, down here is thick as well. All around it's thick, you know, the shaft. So it came out awesome. It came out really good. So thanks to Zen Master for allowing this to be downloaded and printed. And hopefully, I haven't tested it in my game or anything, but hopefully it works. And I printed this the other day, this white one. Same idea, you know, just a different color filament. Same thing in the back here. Got a little weirded out, but I think still would work fairly well in the game if you went to test it. So again, here's our two objects that we did, you know, recently on the printer. There's another like thing that I did too. It's like a test thing to test the printer out. This is nothing to do with pinball, but it has to do with the coolness, which this is really cool, I think. But basically, it's like a little toy, you know, like all gear driven and stuff like that. But this was printed on this printer all in one piece. It wasn't printed in pieces where you had to put this together. This was all created as one piece of unit, if that makes sense. It was printed, you know, with filament on the bed, and then you pull it off. Some of the filament, the plastic had to be kind of dislodged from the gears, so this would work. Down here too, I had to like open this up and crack it off because it was kind of, you know, glued shut as one piece. But he just kind of popped it and it popped off. But again, like look at the intricacies of this, like the gear, like the mesh, how these gears kind of roll with each other. And again, it's really durable. Like it's thick and it's, you know, I guess this is the front actually. The back had got a little, you know, crap put in there, but whatever. But again, these printers are just so amazing what they could do today in the world of prosthetics and stuff like that you make. Cars are being built out of this. It's amazing what these things are actually doing today. It really is. They're great to watch as they print. But again, this is such a cool like little thing, you know. You can make toys on it, you know, like little doohickeys that if you want to play with them, or you know, whatever. So it's just something to do with the printer. Let's kind of go over the printer, some of the things I printed on the printer besides these that work on the printer, and kind of just give you a couple more little things about the printer and how everything works on it. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's start with the control module of this printer. And basically on the screen it kind of gives you, as you know, everything I kind of know of this printer. I've had it for a week. Again, I'm no pro at this at all. It takes a lot of learning, it seems like, to kind of get familiar with the 3D software, how it actually prints, stuff like that. I just downloaded some stuff off the internet, sliced it with the software I showed you in the video previously, and put it to the printer and printed it out. But it's really cool. That's all I gotta say. So again, like this is the right here where my pinky is. That's like for the print head, of the heat of the print head. This is the bed right here to tell you how hot the bed is, if the fan is working in the side of the print head. This is, I guess, the SD card down here. It gives a percentage when it's printing out of how much further you have to go with the printing process or printing time. I printed out this knob with the printer already. I printed out this SD card holder. Again, it was a mini SD or a micro SD that's in the side of this thing. It's just a pain in the neck to deal with a micro SD. So this in here is an adapter, a micro SD to a regular SD card adapter. The mini SD goes in like the top here. And somebody created this piece that, you know, mounts on the side. You put your like SD card adapter in there. You can put like extra SD card holders up here, or you know, SD cards on the top if you have different files on there you want to pull out. You know, it's pretty cool. So again, it's all in that. I changed actually inside this unit. it's a lot quieter than it was. There's 3 fans that are in this unit. There's an exhaust out the back. There's one that goes on the top of the case, and there's one in the middle of it to pull the hot air out of it. So I changed all 3 fans to a quieter fan, and I'll post the links on my again my blog and my on the bottom of the YouTube video to kind of show that. But those are some things I've done to this. I've modded it out quite a bit after having it only for a week. And there's still a couple more mods that I want to do. So let's look at a couple more and see what else I did to this printer. Okay, now on this printer here, what we're looking at is the Printhead, which is here. So this is what goes back and forth, up and down and all that. Change the fan that's in here to a quieter fan. Maybe a bit more powerful to maybe cool it down a little bit more. That's really it, I think, that I did on this unit here. Like I said, there's just another fan in there that could be changed out. And again, it quiets the unit down a lot as you print and do your things with it. So that's another thing I did with it. Let's look at a couple more things that I did with it. So if we scroll up to the top here, I printed another thing out. And these are all pre-printed already. So the filament spool used to be on the side of where the control unit was that I just showed you, that box to the left. Used to get mounted on the top, but my table doesn't have a lot of room, so I mounted it to the top of the actual unit. And this is like a wire guide, I guess, that guides the wire away from the shafts that go up and down. So, and it gives a little more tension on the wire to kind of, you know, feed it through the actual feeder that's on the printer that's back here, that the wire goes through here and it feeds to the print head over here, and then it goes through this tube here, the filament, and melts, and that's how you get your print. It melts on the needle that's underneath, so that's how it prints onto your print bed. So that's that. Trying to think what else I did to this unit. I also printed this out too, which is really cool. This this tool holder here. So these tools come with the unit, with the printer, and you're always tinkering with this thing to take things apart or fix things or whatever. So you have your Allen wrenches here, you have your scraper here to scrape off the excess filament and your completed object at the end, a couple wrenches, screwdriver, and these are to cut the actual filament when you get a new unit or a new roll, or you need to feed it through the the feeder over there and feed it to the needle that prints out your filament to the bottom over there. So that's another thing that I print. And also too, if you look down here, I don't know how well you're going to see it, but there's like little foot holders here that are kind of here where my finger is. And so I changed out the feet that were on the bottom of the actual unit, and I put I printed the plastic thing out again on the printer, but there's actually the like a handball, you know, like you play with a racket and all that are in those little like cups that kind of cushion the printer when it actually prints. So that's another thing that I added to it. I read online it kind of absorbs a lot of the printing, so I did that as well. So again, I'm gonna print or post, I should say, most of that on my blog and my YouTube video underneath, just with some links if you guys want to do the same. There's other videos out there too with it, but you know, you could just look at mine if you want to kind of do that if you have a printer. And I'm trying to think if that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, all I really did with the printer. So I think again it's going to kind of be a great asset to the pinball hobby when we could print these things out, especially of things that are no longer capable of being bought, or people aren't making the objects anymore, you know, and you're gonna have a door stopper if you can't get your pinball machine to work. So I think it's gonna be a great thing. So again, if I do anything else, I will add it to my YouTube channel, my pinball YouTube channel, Pinball Supernova. But again, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys get into some 3D printing yourself. And thanks again for watching all my videos. Go into my website, www.pinballsupernova.com. All my links are there to my blog and my YouTube channel, Twitter, Facebook, everything that's there. So again, thanks for the views. Thanks for the subscriptions. Keep subscribing. It's awesome. You know, I love seeing people watch my videos. It gives me a purpose to make these videos. So again, thanks again for watching. Take care.